I love this story for so many reasons because it proves in multiple ways some of the things we've been saying for a while now. It turns out that police in New York City have flat out stopped doing their jobs. They just decided we're not going to do our jobs anymore. So this, of course, is part of the hissy fit that they've been throwing because the mayor dared to slightly disagree with them on some issues. So now, as part of this infantile, toddler-like tantrum that they've been throwing, they said, fuck it, we're not going to do anything anymore. Now, you might be thinking that, I'm overstating it. Well, I'll let you decide. You listen to these details. Quote, "It's not a slowdown. It's a virtual work stoppage. NYPD traffic tickets and summonses for minor offenses have dropped off by a staggering 94% following the murder of 2 cops as officers feel betrayed by the mayor and fear for their safety," the Post has learned. They say the dramatic drop comes as Police Commissioner Bill Bratton and Mayor de Blasio plan to hold an emergency summit on Tuesday with the heads of the 5 police unions to try to close the widening rift between cops and the administration. They continue, angry union leaders have ordered drastic measures for their members since the December 20th assassination of 2 NYPD cops in a patrol car, including that 2 units now respond to every call. It has helped contribute to a nosedive in low-level policing, with overall arrests down 66% for the week starting December 22nd, compared with the same period in 2013, the stats show. Citations for traffic violations also fell by 94% from 10,069 in 2013 to 587. 10,069 to 587. Now, they're still not done. They say summonses for low-level offenses like public drinking and urination also plunged 94%, from 4,831 to 300. Even parking violations are way down, dropping by 92%, from 14,699 to 1,241. Drug arrests by cops assigned to the NYPD's Organized Crime Control Bureau, which are part of the overall number, dropped by 84%, from 382 to 63. So there's a couple things to take away from this. Number one, they're now proving that it is true. If you disagree with them on anything, if you disagree with them 5% or 10% or 20% or whatever it is, they say, fuck it, we're just not going to do our job anymore. We're just not going to protect you. No, your guys' job is to protect and serve, period. Protect and serve the people. Tax dollars fund you. That includes tax dollars from people who might not rah-rah the NYPD all the time and who might feel harassed by the NYPD at times. That doesn't mean that you don't protect them, and that doesn't mean you don't do your goddamn job. But they're saying, no, all the progressives who've been criticizing us, they're totally right. We're just not going to do our job anymore because we feel like you guys don't 100% fall in line and agree with us. So thank you for proving everything we said right. And the other aspect of this that's fascinating is this really a bad thing? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that it's a bad thing that low-level traffic offenses aren't being rigidly enforced. I'm not sure it's a bad thing. In fact, I know it's not a bad thing that you're arresting non-violent drug criminals, because in my mind, that person's not a criminal any more than somebody who goes home from work and drinks a Corona is a criminal. So I love how they have this attitude of like, aha, we told you so. We showed them, goddamn mayor and goddamn progressives. Meanwhile, progressives are like, what do you mean? Right on. This is awesome. We're happy that you're not arresting anymore for these minor things. And also, you're proving our point, that you don't want to protect anybody who slightly disagrees with you. No, what's amazing to me is that they can't wrap their minds around these basic ideas. And remember, man, the main thing is this. Just because there was an injustice done against the police department, and there was, obviously, murder of anybody is wrong, especially police officers who didn't do anything. So, of course it was an injustice, of course it's wrong, and of course I condemn it in the strongest terms. At the same time, that doesn't make what happened to Eric Garner right. You have to be able to hold those two thoughts in your mind at the same time, because those are two separate issues. One issue is, should the police department be able to use a chokehold that you're not allowed to use within the police department? It's against department regulations. Should you be able to use the chokehold to kill somebody when they're selling untaxed cigarettes and they're not really bothering anybody? That's one issue. And the other issue is, should you be able to murder cops? To both of those things, I say, no! It's an obvious no! But see, they try to make it this tribal thing, where they say, you're with us or you're with them. So, you either think that choking Eric Garner was right and you don't like the murder of cops, or vice versa, right? Or you don't like the choke out of Eric Garner and you support the murder of cops. It's not an either or. It's not an either or. I condemn both of those things, and any rational person should condemn both of those things. These guys have to break free from this ridiculous tribal mindset, because that screams unintelligent. Like, they don't get it, but that screams low IQ, right? It screams like we are not smart enough to comprehend this very primitive, ape-like thing that we're doing right now. You grow the fuck up, man. Look, I'm happy if you continue to not arrest nonviolent drug criminals, but a problem will arise if these guys decide to not look into rapes and look into murders and look into violent crime, because everybody agrees the cops should be there to protect us from violent crime and real crime. We just don't want them to abuse their power, and we don't want them to arrest nonviolent people. So the peaceful protesters from day one were right. The peaceful protesters, keyword peaceful protesters, they were just calling for justice all along. Justice in the Mike Brown case, justice in the Eric Garner case, justice across the board, including justice if there's an injustice done against cops. So you have to be more objective and you have to be rational about it, and you can't just throw a tantrum and a hissy fit every single time you feel like the world doesn't fully agree with your ideology and your ideas.